Good morning, it's Sunday, August 12th. I'm Kale Casey, your host for First Facts Live at 5. You're right here at the Ensign Command Post in Merlin, Oregon for the Taylor Creek and Klondike Fire updates. Thanks for joining us. This is episode 14, a very special one for us. I do have guests to introduce later, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. Thanks again, Green Pants Nation firefighters. If you're out there watching, we appreciate your work tonight. Taylor Creek Fire, 46,300 acres, 45% contained, and 1,232 resources. Klondike Fire, 51,120 acres, 15% contained, and 529 folks involved. Here are the highlights for today. It's a big team transition day. We want to bring you in and let you know about the continuity of how this is going to work. We have a big firefight going on in the Illinois Valley along the river. Meeting in Selma, Monday, 6 p.m. at the community center. The fires moving together has created some discussion on Facebook. We want to address that. And we want to talk about JTAC Jimmy. We posted about him last night. He's helping us keep an eye on these fires. Okay, so for the team transition, a lot of you probably wonder what that means to the firefighters on the ground. It's something we do all the time. The Alaska team came in starting Friday. We had a big in-brief yesterday in the BLM interagency headquarters there. There's a continuity of plans. It's not like a new team comes in and everything changes. You're probably looking at here, you've seen all the fire growth the last few days. You know we have a firefight here. You know we're holding critical line up here, and you wonder, okay, is the Alaska team gonna change everything up? That's not how it works. And in fact, it's usually a 2 to 3 day process that involves today being a big shadow day. So the Alaska team will go out all over the field with the operations folks. They're in the different units. They're kind of picking up the ball and carrying it. And in the fire family, we all know each other. For a lot of us, these are our good friends. In the information team, I've worked with the folks you're gonna meet for years. I mush dogs with them. They're my friends who help groom trails around Fairbanks. And one of the guys is even an Iditarod finisher. So this is not just new people who we don't know. These are really good friends of ours. Tom Kurth, the Ensign Commander, I consider a mentor. I consider a leader in Alaska. He's our Type 1 Ensign Commander. So to have him here now is an honor. Norm McDonald, his trainee, has been here for the last entire 2 weeks working with the team. And you've seen him at some of the briefing highlights. So that's that continuity. For the firefighters on the ground, it's a transition day, and we all are a little bit more alert, but it's something we do all summer long, every 2 weeks, and we just want to let you know it's still one mission, your values at risk, your homes, your communities, your businesses. That's what we're here to protect. That doesn't change, and the mission will stay the same. They'll make a little bit of adjustments once they get on the ground, but for the next few days, it's all the same. Okay, firefight last night along the Illinois River. We did post a video with Deputy Ensign Commander Rob Allen at about 2300, about 11:15 last night. What ended up happening was the crews were getting ready to switch out between day and night shift. The winds have been shifting yesterday, or 2 days ago they blew out, and then they started to shift from the north and northeast, and that pushed some spots right around the Rosenblatt's house area, and fire started to spread in here, which part of that's desirable, but not the parts over the intended containment line. Very difficult piece of ground. We put a photo up last night so you can see exactly how steep it is. We've always had that as a moderate success, just like we had Bear Camp Road as a moderate probability of success, but we got lucky with that inversion capping that and that fire backing slowly. Yesterday with the wind shifting, it did create some spots over the line. If you watched the video from last night, Deputy Ensign Commander worked very closely with Chief Hoke, who is involved every step of the way. They regrouped the firefighters. They did head counts both here at the Rosenblatts and also at the Spike Camp. That's part of our accountability. When fire activity picks up, we do a head count. We make sure everybody's accounted for. We regroup, and then we engage with the plan that we have. So for 2 weeks, teams have been preparing these structures. This has been a level 3. That didn't change at all. And so folks were in there doing their structure protection, keeping their heads cool. Helicopters worked these spots into the evening. We figured that the wind was going to shift by morning and help push this back into the Chetco Bar. And we moved the checkpoint with the National Guard a little farther south so we could start trying to catch this slop. We'll have more on that throughout the day. And again, go ahead and watch that video from last night. Rob spells it out really well. Community meeting that was already planned for Monday in Selma is still on. So the Alaska team will host a community meeting at the community center, 6 p.m. Chief Hoke, the Sheriff's Office, and all the fire managers and agency administrators will be there, just like we had last week when the Rocky Mountain team handed it off to Chris Schulte and our team. a similar meeting. You can ask all your questions, and Chief Hoke, of course, will be on hand to give his input. Okay, there's been a lot of discussion on Facebook from a smaller segment of the population, but an important one, that discusses the fires moving together. And there's folks who say, oh, we're just letting it burn, and those type of comments. And it's, as a firefighter, and as somebody who's been doing this a long time, let's just zoom out a little bit and take a look at what we have here. These communities are values at risk all along. Grants Pass, Wilderville, Wonder, everybody in Merlin, everybody down here. When this fire had to come up with this buffer line to protect these values at risk, it did change the game in the interior. There's no question about that. We all know that. We all agreed that these values, your homes, your communities, your businesses and infrastructure, are the highest priority in terms of what we had to do to get this fire up here and protect them. That's a trade-off. That trade-off means that this is an unknown area. We work around the Briggs Ranch. They started firing yesterday. They've had plans to do that for a while. We're hoping to pick it up on Chrome Ridge and tie it back in to this wilderness, which has a lot of snags and is unsafe. So this is part of the challenge of firefighting, is that we want to keep everything at the smallest possible footprint, but we showed you some video in here, and when you look at this from a risk management standpoint, it's very, very dangerous. We have a very high value on firefighter life. You want us to be safe out there. If your sons and daughters were out there, I think people at home like the armchair quarterback and kind of think, can't they just go in there and pound some fire line like the old days and get around this wilderness? This isn't the old days, and these trees kill people. We lose firefighters every year. When I was in Montana last year, in a 3-week period, we lost 2 firefighters to tree strikes, one on Lolo Peak and one at Seeley Lakes. These are real consequence areas. We had started bringing people down with heavy equipment the day that the fire moved a little bit more north to try to start tying this in, and we had to pull back. That's the right thing to do. We want high probabilities of success. We want an acceptable risk, not insane risk. And so yes, this leaves this to be a problem area where we're going to have to figure out how to do low intensity burns, moderate extreme fire behavior, try to check this up and keep it out of these fire scars, and that's what the Alaska team is being handed. It is a big challenge. It's a challenge that if we were extended and asked to stay on, that we would take on. It's what we do. The agencies support us in this mission. They want us to stay safe while keeping this small. So that discussion really is more quarterbacking, right? Because we know this is the most important in the world. Your homes, your businesses. Look at all the successes we've had. Galise open for business. The river open for business. Not a single structure lost. 1,500 homes. Coming down here, giving more assurance. Sure, we have a firefight going on here, but we had the exact same firefight going on in Pickett, Hog Creek, Shan Creek, and Limpy Creek just 10 days ago. So, challenging business. Let's get into JTech, Jimmy. We've talked about him a few times now. That's JTech. Jimmy found a spot fire outside of the line a couple days ago. He's a military Department of Defense partner with the United States Forest Service. He got fire crews in here, and then last night we posted pictures of him working here at the Incident Command Post as the ship was looking into these spot fires. So we're going to do a piece on him this morning. He was in the studio yesterday, and again, he is one of those assets that I don't think a lot of people know about. These partnerships between the military and the Forest Service, getting eyes in the sky, giving us real-time information. He sat right here in his truck. He could see the spot fires coming over. He could see the helicopters. He was able to map that information, get that real time to the operations chiefs and the branch directors and the incident commanders, so we knew exactly what was going on. We could call down to Chief Hoke and say, here's what's happening to the minute and second. We appreciate you, JTech Jimmy, and we'll talk more about him soon. We're going to discuss a little bit about the future of Live at 5 here in a minute. Sam Harrell from the Alaska team is here. Let me give you the walk-around ops briefing. Okay, again, we've held Bear Camp Road now for several days. This is a very big success story. That's a very difficult piece of line. Peavine Road, the prep is done for the contingency, and in a matter of time, matter of days, the Josephine County Sheriff's Office will make a determination on when these open, but for now, they are closed. When they do open again, there will be rockfall. Be careful. Mop up and patrol, the 300 to 600 foot standards that ODF sets have been met, and so that continues on. This is actually doing quite well. We talked to Reggie Bray, the branch director, last night. We've had very good depth off this line to protect Wonder, Wilderville, and Selma. It's in mop-up on the east side. They've been putting a little bit more fire to try to secure around the Onion Mountain lookout tower, which is in good shape. They're going to bring a little bit more up Forest Service Road 25 to try to get the low intensity so we don't have extreme fire behavior in there. And again, they'll be firing around Briggs. They're going to bring a little bit more down the Chrome Ridge to try to square this up. And everything that the Medford 10 crew and the Grayback crew had done for all those days is in total mop-up patrol. So you have mop-up all the way around. That's a big success story. That's the smallest footprint that we can manage and preserving all the structures. Coming around to the south, you do know that we have the firefight going on. That was level 3 the whole time, so we'll keep you updated today as we get more information. Okay, weather. And the northeast wind gusts to 25 miles an hour today could also continue to give us a little bit of problem. We're going to keep an eye on that with our IMET. And the fire behavior analyst, Todd Gregory, said that, and his trainee said that we could get a few little intense little runs interior here near the Briggs Valley, because that's where the alignment could happen. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We did have heavy helicopters working yesterday, taking the heat out of here, and they'll be keeping an eye on that today. I got a special guest I'd like to introduce, somebody I've worked with now for 2 different fire assignments, Mike Caffaretta from the Oregon Department of Forestry. He's been here as our agency administrator. He's one of the One Voice folks who gives us the same direction that the Forest Service and BLM did. Mike, welcome to the show. I know you've been working really hard. It's not easy being an agency administrator. You have a lot of pressure to protect the state lands. A lot of state lands are involved in here. How you doing?
I'm just fine. Good morning, Casey. Good morning, KL Casey.
And go ahead and let everybody know what your role is here.
So I'm an agency administrator. I work at the Oregon Department of Forestry, and we view our role here as trying to help this fire team be successful and these firefighters be successful, protecting private lands and protecting all the different values here at risk.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us, Mike. Thanks for the teamwork, and we look forward to working with you again. I know you're going to take care of the Alaska team.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate the work you're doing here to communicate with the public. It's really an excellent thing you've added here with Live at 5.
Well, with a community like this, and you all know out there, I come back to my unit when I've done some of my working on these plans, and I hear these hashtags, Kills Crew is out there. I want to give you guys a shout out. Whatever you're feeling, we're feeling, we love serving you. This is a two-way communication platform. That's why Facebook Live is so important. You need to know that we're sincere. You need to know that we watch the discussions online, and some of it is hard to watch because it's very challenging, very dangerous work. This is a very, very high-risk event. Sam Harrell's here from the Alaska team. He's a dear friend of mine. He's a professional photographer, writer. He's an information officer. He also grooms in Fairbanks, Alaska over the last several years for some of the bigger races. We've been personal friends for many years now, and Sam is going to be one of the people we hand this off to. Normally I would stay on and work with Sam because I also have one of these uniforms in my car, but I've got to get back to Willow, Alaska, where Sam just came from, Alaska, to get some work done and see some love and head home. So Sam, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Sam Harrell. I'm an information officer with the Alaska team. We're here to help out with the Taylor Creek and Klondike fires.
Excellent. And what's some of your thoughts now? I mean, the Live at 5 is a pilot program. You're the first audience that's ever had it. It's an experiment that we figured that we would launch here in this community because I used to live in Ashland, Medford. I know how warm and friendly the Grants Pass area is, how incredible this community is. And now we've just sort of dropped this on the Alaskans' lap, and it is a lot of work to get up early. It's a lot of commitment, but it matters. And there's different ways we can do this. So we've talked about maybe doing a 6, 7, or 8.
We do intend to continue with information flow out to the public. You've left some pretty big shoes for us to fill here, Kale. I appreciate that. But just rest assured, we're still going to be transparent in our operations and share with you as we have updates on the fire. Continue looking for us on the Facebook page and also INCIWeb. Those are going to be our voices to the public. So stay tuned for more. I'm not sure if I'll be able to muster 5 a.m. tomorrow, but as we shadow the team today, we're going to develop our plan and follow right on through. And
some of the options we thought of is that it could be taped the night before and posted early. There could be a later broadcast. So thanks, Sam. I know I'm proud of you. Your crew, they have a very deep crew here, about 10 or 11 information officers down at Lake Selmac. So the signboards, the written updates, the videos, the photography,
That'll
a lot of that,
continue, yeah.
all that will continue. And of course, with a voice like that, a basso profundo, really nice tenor voice.
Thank you,
I wish
Gail.
I had that, you bet. Okay, folks, let's talk about a couple of watch out situations for our firefighters today. Number 15, wind increases or changes. We have a lot of that going on. Number 16, frequent spot fires across the line. So we're keeping an eye on them. And then standing order number 2, know what your fire is doing at all times. That's where JTAC DIMI comes in, our Scan Eagle, our lookouts. We're really grateful for all your support. You know we're involved in a firefight. We don't like losing fire line. These are sometimes very, very hard to hold. We'll post more of the visual stories so you can see. Just imagine if you had a son or daughter in there trying to hold a steep fire line on a mountain. Put yourself into their shoes. It's dangerous. Neighbors Helping Neighbors has really gotten us through these last 2 weeks. Let's keep that going for the Alaskans. And thanks so much for all the Kales Cruise fan and all that. It's right back to you. This is just something that we want to see if we can pilot in the information world. We're on a 24 hours news cycle. We know you get up early and this matters to you. So thanks for all that support. Thanks for all the feedback. We'll be back with you. Teams always cycle through an area, so you'll never know when to see us again, but it will happen. We'll be back. Thanks.